Emily Raquette, and you're watching Amplify.
My company, the brand that we go under is Fan HQ, and so we sell licensed sports merchandise, non-apparel versions. So anything that is a household good, a kitchen good, a car accessory that you can stick an NFL, MLB, NCAA, any of the major U.S. sports team logo on, we sell those. We got started, it was kind of as a play thing that I started some Facebook pages for two of my favorite football teams. And it was the Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos, and this was 5 or 6 years ago. And that was the year they both went to the Super Bowl, so those pages got large. And from there, I had to figure out how to monetize them.
Of course, the entrepreneur in you, you're like, how do I monetize this now? Yeah.
Because at first it was just to learn Facebook, because I wanted to learn that side of things. So we started with affiliate offers, and we were able to work with some of the bigger sports retailers out there and sell their products and get affiliate kickback. And from there, we were able to identify products that worked really well. We started reaching out and making some relationships with the manufacturers that were licensed, and we were able to slowly start bringing products on and getting their approvals to sell it ourselves. And from there, we just kept growing. We made a Facebook page for every major team, so we now run about 250 different pages and groups, and so this caused us to have to segment our email lists and everything into each team. But we've grown to, we've got 80,000 SKUs now that we went through our Shopify site. And then we use ClickFunnels to run kind of more direct promotions where it's a single product that we want to upsell into something else where it makes more sense to follow them down kind of a value ladder.
Sure. So you're one of those people that you've learned how to successfully integrate ClickFunnels with a Shopify business and help it to amplify everything else you're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great.
And I think why we went to ClickFunnels from the Shopify is our Shopify store is fantastic for people to browse on because we have so many SKUs. We want them to be able to just look at, wow, what's everything I can get in my favorite team, and here's all the things. But when we have promotions that we want to push heavily, and then also as advertising costs have risen, there's kind of like a saying out there, I think it's Jay Abraham, who says, whoever can spend the most on ads is going to win. So you need the highest average cart, you need the highest margins that you can get, and ClickFunnels is much better than Shopify at being able to do the add-ons, the one-click upsells, and so we were able to get a much higher average cart. So kind of, I guess the way our process works is if we're going to put dollars behind our advertising, we will push that through ClickFunnels. And then our Shopify store is there for the more organic traffic where people can come browse. We've collected a lot of emails. We've got our pages that we just send them there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, for people who are just getting started, one thing you've really leveraged to grow your business to scale to that 8-figure amount is you built really strong communities. Tell us how you do that.
It's been a lot because we have to build so many of them. But the main thing is really getting to understand your target market, and there's a lot of ways to really monitor what other people are doing out there. You don't have to necessarily reinvent the wheel, but you can see what other pages or other communities out there, what they're responding to, and then just get a voice behind that and start making it get a natural voice that's on your side, and then start repurposing that content and using your voice behind it, and people start being drawn to that. From there, you can really start. There's a lot of tactics, I guess. Some people will actually pay for it. I know Facebook pages aren't quite as lucrative as they once were, but there's Facebook groups, there's Instagram, there's email addresses. There's a lot of ways to still build large communities and large assets. And I think that's one of the most important things that isn't quite talked about enough, is that hitting a funnel that works and hitting a Facebook ad, mainly Facebook, people do YouTube and other things, but hitting an ad that works is kind of the home run. And you can scale that up and you get a lot of sales very quickly, but those change. Facebook changes, the cost changes, we all know this, the social platforms change every 3 months basically. And so to have a long-lasting brand, you really have to build these assets that are going to continue to give you sales, even though they're not the home run sales, on a consistent long-term basis. And that's in building these communities, building email lists, building messenger lists now, things like that.
Yeah, so if someone's just getting started, if a lot of what you just said is like, whoa, that sounds like a lot. They're just getting started. What's your advice for them?
My advice is absolutely to start, have a page and have a group. And some of this is going to depend on what your offer is, if you're a coach or if you're selling products. But really, there's ways to start without spending any money at all. And that is in getting involved in the community, because there's already communities out there most likely for your niche, and so you go get involved in that community and you provide value to people. And as you provide value in those communities, people will start checking you out, they'll start friending you, and you can kind of set up in your profile a not too salesy way, but a way for people to understand that I run a community like this as well, and I have a page like this as well. And they'll start slowly flowing to that page and that community. Once you build them enough where you can start getting some reach around them, then there's a kind of simple process where you post things to the page, and then as people like them, so you got to do your research to make sure it's going to be stuff that does well. But as it gets engagement, if you're a smaller page, if people like or engage with your post and they haven't liked your page yet, you're able to invite them to like your page. And then once people like your page, you're able to invite people who like your page to invite your group. And then once they're in your group, you can ask for their email, you can give them freebies or something else to then move them further along. But all this can be done at the very beginning with no ad spend. And the great thing about that tactic is you really, through this, get to mess up and learn what resonates with your fan base and what things get them to take action without having to stick a bunch of money in an ad to learn that the hard way. Sure. And so then by the time either you now have confidence to spend some money, or you've now sold enough to have some money in your pocket, you have a much better message, you have a better funnel, you've got more of a fan base from which to do some custom audience targeting, and so you can launch more efficiently, I think, than someone that just starts from scratch.
Awesome. Well, how does it feel to be here at Funnel Hacking Live and receiving an 8-figure award?
It is pretty crazy and surreal, and I probably won't fully realize it till I'm on stage getting it and looking at my ring and everything. It's been a crazy journey full of so many ups and downs. That's my big joke with everyone now, is the roller coaster never ends. So whether you have 1,000 in sales or 1 million in sales or 10 million in sales, and the more I talk to people, I realize this. There's no point. I think when I was first starting, I was like, oh, well, once we hit 1 million or something, then I can stop stressing and I will just always sleep well at night. And that doesn't happen. So no matter what you get to, there's still the ups and downs. But those ups and downs are what make it that much more enjoyable and that much more exciting and fulfilling to have an accomplishment like this and get to go up on stage with Russell and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, where can we find you if we want to learn more, and if we want to get a cool toaster oven with some NFL swag on it?
So our Shopify store is fanshophq.com. And then if you want to just check out any of our communities or anything, if you type in your favorite team name and then FanHQ afterwards on Facebook, you will find our team page that promotes those things.
A page for every fan.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.